the northeastern part of India. Now, if the again fundamentalists come back to Bangladesh through by or election or some other ways, the whole eastern part of the subcontinent again will be troubled by the extremists. And the problem is that Bangladesh is in such a situation, and the recent opinion polls and others say that BNP may have a landslide victory in these things. And if you see the very recent democratic movement in Bangladesh, you know all about the Shabab movement, that has been already crushed by the Jamaat and other forces. And all their liberal leaders, they are really now hiding. Similarly, in the western part of Bangladesh, at least in Kolkata, all the Islamic organizations there have gone against the Shabbat movement, while the government in West Bengal has stopped processions in support of the Shabbat movement. I have been personally there. But they have allowed the fundamentalists in West Bengal to hold a huge mass meeting in Kolkata against the Shabbat movement and in support of the war criminals, Jamaat leaders. So in this situation, the elections in Bangladesh today is not an internal matter of Bangladesh or just a matter of Bangladesh minorities. It is now an issue of international dimension. And that's why I think it is now the responsibility of the international community to raise their voice. And I again will congratulate Bangladesh Hindu Buddha Christian Unity Council USA that they have started the work. This may be the first conference on this issue, and I think there may be should be a chain of conference in other parts, because only the alarm by the international community, their pressure, can have some impact on Bangladesh scenario. And I will repeat those, whatever has happened in Bangladesh, you have seen it, you go through all these things. But there should be some specific demands by these international meetings and others so that we can tell it to the different state authorities that they should follow up. And basically, if you see the International War Crime Tribunal, this has been a historical incident in the history of Bangladesh and also in the history of international war criminal, because they have formed a new chapter of legal thing in Bangladesh. But unfortunately, the Western media has not been very positive to the International War Tribunal. And this election is also a very test case for that. If some of the verdicts are not executed before the election, then the fate is very uncertain. So I'll just say that what are the demands we should make from this kind of forum, so that the administrations at different levels of different countries can think about it. First is that Bangladesh should have a strong minority commission, and so that they can keep always a tag on the minorities of Bangladesh. That is, we need to have a minority commission like this. Now when there is an attack on minorities, just when the recent attack was there, you have seen these events, even the most fundamentalist newspapers like Naya Diganto, they would say, oh, these are the activities of Awami League. They are doing it to gain the Hindu support, and vice versa. So there should be some kind of a mechanism. So in any area there is a communal, this kind of atrocities, there should be local fight. This was in vogue in British India. There is a community fine in any area if there is something like happens. This can be again started. Now the police officers and senior officers should be held responsible if there is any kind of communal attack on the minorities. That should be pinpointed. Otherwise, as has been mentioned in the slide, you see, there have been number of court cases Bangladesh, this the HRCBM, Human Rights Conference of Communities of Bangladesh minorities, they have gone to Bangladesh Supreme Court about the incidents, but there has never been a single, judgment for any of these issues. An attack on Hindu or other minority religious places should be treated in the same way as the insult on Islam or its prophet. This should be given as a same priority. As we see that just a rumor on the Facebook can do all these events. And there should be a UN observer team before and after the election in Bangladesh. Because you see, 2001 carnage started just when the BNP won the election. The real atrocities start just after the announcement of the election. So there should be a UN observer team there. And all these meetings should have one thing, that international community has one stake to yell. That is that there should be economic sanction on Bangladesh if the minorities' rights are not protected. You see, already there is some kind of economic sanction because of the garment industry, because of their failure of their labor laws, and there is immigration from Bangladesh. If these are curtailed by the Western governments, there is some economic pressure on Bangladesh. That works. We have seen that economic sanction works. So these are the specific demands that should be voiced from this kind of forum, and I think BHBCU will be helpful in this. And we in other parts of the world, in Kolkata, will try to raise this voice, try to organize our people so that the minorities of Bangladesh are protected, and again, that will also protect us from the horror of Islamic fundamentalism. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Mohit Ray. He is a professor at Jadavpur University, and we appreciate you coming from all the way from Calcutta. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to request Ms. Rosalind Costa. She came from Bangladesh. She is the director of Hotline Bangladesh, a human rights organization based in Dhaka, Bangladesh. She is a lifelong advocate for the persecuted minorities of Bangladesh, and she has devoted herself to the cause.
Thank you. Honorable guests and friends, good evening. I think the best conference today could be, after watching the videos there, take an hour to think on each picture, on each incident, meditate over it, and then take a decision what you friends would like to do for Bangladesh. Because whatever you have seen in the pictures is going to be repeated. It's very good to have a conference here in USA, having friends from different countries discuss about Bangladesh, about the minorities. But what is the reality? What is going to happen? And how this community gathered here could be a help to the victims in Bangladesh. We are approaching the national election, and from our past experience, we know what happens before, during, and after the election. Political parties are fighting, but the victims are the minorities who have to pay for whatever party wins in next election. During the last 5 years' time, we have seen under the secular government, I quote, under the secular government, the worst kind of human rights violations for the minorities, especially the Buddhists, the most peaceful people in our country. The worst incident happened there in Ramu. Even though every day something is happening in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, but still we count what had happened in Ramu is an exceptional violence against the Buddhists. In the whole country, every day the minorities are being suffered. Rape, forced conversion, forced marriage, and then divorce, and then suffering for the minorities to be evicted from their own lands is an everyday event. In the last 2 years' time, we have seen several incidents, like in Dinajpur, Gorarghat, 3 villages were attacked just on the rumors. Few days ago, we have seen what had happened in Pabna, in Shatya. Last year and also in 2011, we have seen what had happened in Shatkhira. Just based on the rumors, the minorities are attacked. And the most distraction on the minorities is burning their houses, taking away the girls, dishonoring the women, and the ultimate goal is to evict them for the land. The main issue is land. Just on the 25th of last month, in Sripur, Gazipur, on the base of a football tournament, the opposition leaders, the local leaders, they burned a house totally. The family members, husband and wife, could save only 2 of their children, nothing else from the rooms. And then these culprits, these criminals, went to ask for money and to change the names in the case that they filed. The names the criminals would put, and they were forcing the victims to put the names they would give in the case, or they were demanding money from the victims. The similar things have happened in Pabna Shatya. Every day it's happening. We are horrified. I came just 2 days ago from Dhaka, and I'll be going back at the end of this month. And I am horrified, thinking what is going to happen to our people. We will have the national election, but national election had to be paid by the blood and sweat, tears and life of the minorities. We have seen what had happened in 2001. I went myself to Poland and have met the women who were violated their rights. And I found about 98% of the women that I met were raped and gang raped. I could rescue only 3 girls, and one of them was 8-year-old Rita Das, who has just passed her BA from Pravartan in Chittagong just 2 years ago. And she was rescued by me. And we know Purnima, she was worldwide publicized, and we know what had happened to her. This Rita and Purnimas are many in our country. They are uncounted. They hide their faces through fear, through shame. Many of them commit suicides